Hello, everybody.
Hi!
We're back after
Here we are.
I don't know how long.
I don't know what
but
that
it's
was.
three of us.
You're like, yay! And
She's like, hi.
I just really enjoy how my teeth look so white on this camera. I
My
can't stop
skin
staring
looks
at
smooth and it's not.
Why?
We got new equipment.
Yay! Hi, new angle.
Angle.
Say hi to the new
Angle.
Gosh, yeah, it's
You're
been
like-
a while.
Like that drag queen there.
It's been a while. And that's all we can sing.
Her like entrance look was angle.
That was
Oh,
below
Willow
Pill.
Pill. Not on film.
I know, right?
Speaking of drag.
That's the topic of today's episode.
Yeah. I'm not in drag today.
Oh yeah, that's another surprise that we have for you today.
Surprise! You get to see boy JJ. I got sunburned all over my body and it hurts.
No
Please
makeup?
use sunscreen.
She's like, I'm using protection right
Yeah, also don't put makeup on damaged skin because it just makes it worse. You need to let your skin re-heal.
now. Use common sense.
Use condoms.
That's what I heard.
Common sense.
They made a mistake by putting this angle in front of my face. So drag for me is a way for me to express pretty much what my body doesn't really look like. Like I can express my inner like femininity, masculinity, or just in between. Have fun with it, fluid. If I want to be a space alien, honey, I'm gonna be a space alien. If I want to be a sewer rat, I'm gonna be a sewer rat and have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I said if I want to be a sewer rat, I'm gonna have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Because they're part of the team.
But you're gonna be the rat.
Yes! With my long ass nails. So that's what drag is to me. A lot of people think drag is you are doing like the opposite sex, right? I mean, I guess that can be like a part of the spectrum of drag, but it's just so much bigger. It literally is just self-expression in an art form and just having fun with it and literally being a ginger F word.
And I mean, for me, as a go-go boy, I should say, drag touches all kinds of things. Like for me, it is the ultimate form of expression. As RuPaul would say, we're all born naked and the rest is drag. Because right when you're born, you're kind of told who you are, what you're supposed to be, the conditioning of our society, all that stuff. Like a lot of things, like when you're a kid, you're kind of asked, like, what do you want to be when you're going to grow up? You know, and a lot of people would say like a nurse, a doctor, police officer, firefighter. And then drag is kind of like, I pick who I want to be and I just run with it.
Yeah, if I want to dress up like a doctor and go perform surgery on someone, I won't do that, but I'll dress up like a doctor and dance in front of you. That's also a part of drag is too, like dismantling the patriarchy. Like you're taking away those norms that people think are norms. Let's be honest, there is no norm. Look at me. Honestly, like when people are like, "Oh, that's weird," to me, that's normal.
And you're not.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
normal.
Like, you're not weird.
Everyone's
'Cause
different.
Everyone's weird.
Yeah, when everything is like really normal, that's when I freak out.
Yeah. When you were kids, did you ever hear like the saying, like someone said, like, "Oh, you're different, and that's what makes you special"?
Yeah.
Literally drag.
All the time. All the time.
But as a kid, that was like not a fun thing to do or be.
You'll get bullied for your weird, like uniqueness and weirdness when you're a kid, especially if you're like extra weird. When I was a kid, I was uber nerdy when it came to like fandom of like Star Wars, Care Bears, cartoons. But I got made fun of for as older I got still being into childish things.
Oh, yeah.
Like cartoons and things, which I always will be. So
Same. That thing is never
Same.
age limit.
I love cartoons. I love Star Wars. I love Marvel. Well, we had the first episode already.
I know.
Go back and watch it. Yeah.
Introductions already.
Go back and watch it.
Drag for me, I mean, in the gaming community, it's pretty much just what everyone does at conventions and at gaming events, and it's cosplaying. And I don't think there was a huge, understanding that was also considered drag until like most recently. You know, normalized in a way that what people do is considered drag.
Yeah.
I think there was a very big disconnect until like, society started to really get to know what drag really is, and everything was completely divided and separated and labeled as just like nerd convention and just people who have no lives and a ton of time to waste to create costumes and everything like that. But I'm like, that shit is like hard to do and a lot of dedication, not cheap.
I mean, drag and cosplay has evolved like so much.
Yeah.
Even just the time span of when RuPaul's Drag Race came out, from the first season until now, the drag is like so much more different. Like when RuPaul talks about glamour and having to like have this like high standard of drag.
It's still just her definition.
It puts this stereotype on drag queens that they have to look a certain way or act a certain way and all of that stuff. But like there's all kinds of different types of drag queens or kings and
in between,
all forms of drag
yeah.
in between.
Yep.
Yeah, some drag performers just identify as like a performer. Like they don't identify like as a king or a queen. Like they love the ability to like or just stay in the middle and like look. I do drag and I have a beard and I have tits. Like, look. But it's like that literally is the middle of like a spectrum, right? If we're gonna go off of this, the whatever, like female, male, it's like literally right in the middle and you're like, whatever.
I mean, all of us, go by different pronouns and we're non-binary and all that. But when it comes to just life in general, there is no set in stone way of how you should be, whether it's male or woman. There's always been an in-between in all forms of life. Our biology as humans is all over the place. So.
Oh yeah, I can't wait until like there's more acceptance and even just seeing those options appear in more like non-queer related applications or forms or anything like that. Like I just registered for some classes and I think in the past when I registered or had to update my profile as a student, gender is always a requirement, but this time they didn't require it. So like I could have just left it blank. So yeah, that's types of drag. And there's more. Ours is not just exclusive to what
to say off a list of the type of drag.
Oh yeah.
Drag.
Give us the list.
And I'm not even sure if this is the full list, but we have, horror drag, which is like Dragula and that type of thing.
Horror.
Okay.
Or horror.
Because we also have drag.
I
don't know if we'll get demonetized for that.
There's the haunting at the whorehouse, which is different, and then there's the horror drag. We also have beauty pageant, which like Miss Continental and stuff like that as well. Javier talked about the cosplay and connections between drag. There's also the really old, club kid style of drag, which is more of like androgynous, kind of doing whatever the heck you want.
Alien, out of this
drag
world.
king, which is
anyone
or male
that wants to, heighten the masculinity, like features or like performance. So like I also do. Because I'm non-binary, so I also identify as my drag is I'll do guy drag, which is I consider king. Sometimes I'll do queen, or I'll do in the middle. Right now it's just Jeff. I just came out of work.
This is lazy bear drag.
Yeah. I'm just Jeff, which is how I got JJ, by the way.
There's also AFAB queens, which is women who are born biologically female that do drag as like themselves as a female.
What does AFAB stand for?
Assigned female at birth.
Okay.
Victoria Scone is one
Yes.
of them. Trans queens as well, where they're transition and they have trans and they choose whatever male or female they want to do. Like Gottmik.
Gottmik. That's a good example.
Trans. There's also culture of drag. I mean, their drag is like, like in Mexican culture, it's like Tororico, and like Japanese, they would do the
kabuki.
There you go. I was like, what is it called?
So that's actually a really good example because it's not even like a taboo over there. It's like
it's
in Thailand, it's definitely
traditional.
Yeah, it's traditional. The men go and perform as females,
and then at last is it just androgyny. It can be whatever you want.
Yeah.
Literally, there's no rules when it comes to drag.
Yeah. And that's
only androgyny doesn't owe anybody ambiguity or mystery whatsoever. Something you said earlier, right? Like people who are now either are transitioning or have transitioned from, being drag queens and fully becoming, what they identify as. Because I think Kylie Sonique said something really recently where she doesn't identify as a drag queen. Like she's a performer.
Yeah.
And because she is a woman and she just loves performing and she's talented as hell. So like,
she's just herself.
Yeah, I mean, even Mo Hart just talked about it in one of their.
Why she changed her name?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they don't identify like as male or female. They're just like, I'm just a performer, and whatever I give you is what I'm giving you.
Yeah.
Whatever I'm feeling in the moment, that's what I'm gonna give you.
And a lot of I feel like RuPaul's drag queens are they're redoing what they want to do. So like Tyra Sanchez going back to the male drag, and some drag queens changing up their drag since their season.
Hi, mister.
I have dogs.
All right. Should we go now to what does it cost to do drag?
Girl.
So yeah, JJ, break down.
Fade gray.
Tell us a story.
Put some like very melancholy music.
Describing this.
Right now, if you call, you can sponsor the drag queen.
For only 2
I mean,
cents a day.
there is a drag fund. There is a drag defense fund. That's different.
I calculated it kind of based off of just what I do. So I obviously love buying wigs because I love styling them. I recycle my wigs and I'll resell them, but sometimes for a number. My dog just judged me when I said that. I looked away. Sometimes for a number you need a new wig, and look, I'm probably gonna get some hate from it. But look, I'm not rich.
Girl, I don't think any drag queen is.
I
I think the richest drag queen is probably Trixie Mattel, but
Yeah. I mean, like, Amazon is the easiest way. Like, I'm constantly at work, right? So I need something to where I don't need to go somewhere to get it. I want it to come to me. There's people that go thrifting, but I'm gonna give you all like the pricing that I got just based off of what I get on Amazon. So like you get like a good wig, lace front, right? On Amazon, you're gonna get like a top and like a skirt or a bottom, or you get a dress, right? Depending on what your outfit is. It's gonna be plain Jane because it's Amazon. We know how people love to look plain and not cute. So then you need to...
First time in drag. Ooh.
Do we have pictures of you first time in drag?
So then if you're plain Jane, you want to get like some things to bedazzle your outfit or to stone them. So rhinestones, obviously. Some tassels maybe that you can hot glue or sew on. Something that's going to add some flair, right? All together, excluding the shoes, because I am going to exclude the shoes. An outfit altogether probably is almost $200. Just for one number. One number. Now, if you told me to do 2 numbers and you want 2 separate like looks, that's almost like $400 or 300. I would say 300 to 4 if you're a thrifty person on Amazon and you know how to sew and you know how to pretty much stone a dress or stone an outfit. It's kind of hard to, when you do it in the beginning, you need to find a pattern and you got to stick with it. And you're not going to finish it in one day. It's going to take almost a whole week just to get your looks together. Now the shoes, I love buying heels. Amazon actually has some good heels for a chunky queen like myself.
What size do you wear?
I need stability in my life because I clearly don't have it.
You like a chunky heel?
So I love a chunky heel. Listen, if you're a new queen and you're starting, you better get a chunky heel because unless you can dance on top of a pen, no. You're gonna hurt yourself. You gotta be able to work your way into it.
You ain't no Violet Chachki, girl. You can't be dancing on some stilettos.
I don't want to dance on those damn stilettos because I'm also old.
Those cankles can't support
Cankles?
That's the end of our show.
Hashtag cankles. Which
Good
I
Lord.
don't have. So a heel on Amazon that is good. By the way, quality is gonna cost more. If you're just getting a heel, it's probably gonna be maybe like between 50 to 100, right? But if you're getting a boot, which we love a boot, that's gonna go up to almost 200 sometimes. So I would say it would start around 70 and then go up to 200 depending on what type of boot it is.
Yeah. Do you have to do any like adjustments to the garment that you buy? Or do you know the size and it's gonna fit you? Or, like, you have to sew anything or like?
So
anything?
everything on Amazon actually runs small. even though I'm getting a 3XL.
It's a medium, girl.
I know.
So that's
Medium.
why the price varies, because if you think you're gonna get it right the first time, unless you are if you're not like a plus size queen,
Yeah.
I think you'll be fine getting outfits that will fit perfect. It's just you're gonna have to find the right size, and sometimes you're gonna have to return stuff. Go to Kohl's and return it. Sometimes I'll put an outfit on that I'm like, ooh, this looks like it fits, and I go to put it on, which actually happened. I was supposed to be a part of a court thing that we were doing, court as in the Imperial Court.
not in civic or city court. Or...
Not court. And I was talking to my friend David that I bought this outfit, and we were playing kickball, and I was like, I'm gonna have to go home after this and revamp a new outfit because I went to try this this like leotard on, and it was not made for someone my size. But unfortunately, I got heat stroke, so I wasn't able to do that. But I'm still gonna fix the outfit because let's say I'm gonna say this now, like don't buy something and then just like let it sit there and go to waste. Like use it. Yeah. Don't let your money go to waste. Use it for a different number. Also, if you can sew, go to Joann's, get fabric, and just sew an outfit. It's so easy to like make your own like type of stencil for your body. YouTube.
I mean, there's a lot.
Oh, you're already here, so go on YouTube and like, follow this link. Just kidding.
Do you wear padding?
Oh yes. So padding and
Do you make your padding or
yeah.
no?
a plate
Plate.
that you put over your chest.
A plate.
So I actually have padding that I have made, and that is when I want to give extra va-va-voom, which is like extreme. Like it is
No wonder your
5
couch is
inches
empty.
out from my hip side on both
Your
sides.
couch is so
I'm
uncomfortable.
like, no wonder that couch is gone.
So I got padding that cost almost, I think it was like almost maybe $200 around there. My breastplate, $800.
Oh my god.
Yikes.
Yes, breastplates are expensive.
You just have one?
Yeah, and you go on Amazon and you buy that little cheap thing, that thing is gonna rip.
Oh.
And it's not made for plus size people, by the way, even though it will say it is not.
Lies Minnelli.
Yeah, so
Did you get the
I got
breastplate
it.
at Amazon or somewhere else?
no, I got it on Aaliyah's Closet. They actually make it, so a lot of the breastplates used to be made with gel, and so they were heavy, but now they're making them with cotton inside, so that they're lighter, because it's gonna be wrapped around your neck, or you're holding it up, and you're gonna have back problems.
I bet.
It gets heavy.
Such is life.
Especially if you have like Jimbo-sized tits.
Yes.
Jimbo's
But
like,
those are the kind that are filled with cotton.
Oh,
girl,
okay.
like,
Yeah, because they're so big, they have to be.
like, just no way.
Sure,
They have to
those
be.
are the clown tits.
Yeah, so drag's expensive. Now let's talk about me getting paid. So drag is wild. If you're gonna do drag, you love it. And it's something that you're passionate about. Because sometimes when you're starting, most of the time when you're starting actually, you're probably only gonna get a tip spot. Because a lot of people are performing nowadays.
What's a tip spot?
Oh, I'll tell you what a tip spot
Okay.
is.
I'm not there yet.
Oh, I'll get there. A lot of people may not know you, right? Unless you were on Instagram posting a lot of your looks, and then you got like a good following. So a tip spot is literally you go and perform, and it's usually 2 numbers. Anytime that you're performing, they're usually requesting 2 numbers. That's kind of like the basic. Sometimes they'll be like, okay, you do 3 numbers, and that's usually when you're getting more money. So tip spot is when you go and perform those numbers, and you literally only are getting paid whatever tips you make.
Yeah, I mean, that happens with go-going too.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
shitty.
it's not fun because sometimes, look, like people, I understand that like you came here to see cat dip splits, tricks. Not gonna happen with me. All you're gonna get is probably a titty shake.
If you're
And a
doing a
donkey
tip
kick.
spot.
No, just in general.
Oh.
But you're gonna get charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and I guess talent.
Some talent.
Sometimes.
A donkey
Some
kick.
stars.
A donkey kick. If I had a show, I would make sure that they got paid something.
100%.
Hourly, like, rate or something?
Jesus.
Or just like
There's no hourly.
a total
yeah, there's no
number
hourly.
for
Hourly
the
doesn't
amount of time.
exist.
So it would be like whatever amount of numbers you're doing, like I'll pay
Oh,
you.
okay.
Obviously,
It's like a package deal.
I would say like the basic starting rate once you start getting paid for numbers, it's usually around like $40 or $50 for the 2 numbers. The more that you get more gigs, the more people see you out there, and the more people enjoy your drag. so like they start booking you more and more, that's when you can actually go and be like, hey, can I get $70, $75? Can I get 80? Can I get 100? And because you're so well liked, or like your drag is received very well with the community, they'll usually be like, yeah. I would recommend that if anyone's starting off, telling all your friends that you do birthday parties. Because I will say that some of my friends have paid me very well just to do one number, and I even was trying to talk them out of paying me that much. But they just did it because one, they're friends and they want to support. You're right. A good friend will want to support you. And also, they probably were, they're also like probably just gonna get hammered. So they just they're gonna enjoy it anyways. But yeah, do birthday parties, do private parties, like it's fun. You get to meet more people, and then that's actually how you get like spread out more, is people talking to other people. Yeah. Also, like, I'm a humble queen. If someone says, hey, can you do 2 numbers for $50, that's all I got, I'll do it. I'm not gonna say no. That's rude.
I'm not gonna say
Depends on who's asking, right?
I bet.
Yeah, I mean, as long as I'm getting paid. I'll do like charity events as well. So if they're like, oh, we're trying to raise money, would you mind if like your tips go to, whatever charity we're trying to raise money for, which usually means also that you're not getting paid for those, which 9 times out of 10 you're already like, okay, cool about it.
You're donating your time and talent.
Yeah, and not only that, you're letting your following know, like, hey, we're about to do this event, like everyone go and like let's support
a cause.
Yeah. Now people that just found out that don't go to a charity event and not tip. Who does that? Well, because some people will find out.
A lot of people do.
And they'll be like, oh, the tips aren't even going to the queen, so I'm not even gonna tip. That's the whole point of the event.
Girl, it's called a cause for a reason.
Yeah, we're raising the money. I personally don't know anyone that does that because all my friends have integrity. I mean, so like a lot of Imperial Court events. Oh, by the way, if you didn't know,
update.
I am the reigning Mix Pride for Long Beach right now. MX standing for not Mr., not Miss, or Miss. It is non-binary.
Your Highness.
Kind of. And then so a lot of the events that I'm doing, because I have a year now of this reign, actually all the events that I'm doing with this reign when I am performing in my mixed title is raising money for the charities. So I don't get any of that money, and nor do I want it, because I wanted to go to those charities that I'm, raising money for. That's the whole point of the Imperial Court, raising money for the community and giving it to the community.
So yeah, Michael, tell us about your go-go dancing experiences.
So I haven't actually go-go that often, but I do love dancing, period, whether I'm naked or not.
All the time.
Always move my head, because I'm a huge fan of music. I always have Spotify and I'm listening on like in the shower, on my way to work. And the first time I actually go-go it was called Eagle 562, but now it's Falcon North. I was dancing for like one of my ex's events, and I was a pup on stage, and I was dancing like the entire time. And it's funny because seeing go-go's kind of just shrug their shoulders a little bit and then like get off stage and walk off.
The go-go shrug.
I know.
Just a little monster move a little bit and then just like get off and then never go back on that box. And I'm like, do you not enjoy your job? Like, do you not like to dance? Because if you don't, I will.
We get it. You just want to flop your wing around and
shrug
your shoulders.
Working it.
I work my ass off when I dance.
You do.
And when
literally.
And then when it comes to dancing, it's really kind of, drag too, it's kind of like who you know and networking. I fell into my first gig because I was dating somebody, but those gigs after that, I knew people in LA and in Long Beach, and I kind of had to ask them, like, hey, can I go for an event? And a lot of them don't really think I'm serious about it until like I ask them like 2 or 3 times, and then they're like, okay, I have this event, can you go? All right, sure. And when it comes to like cost of being a go-go, it's definitely far less than being a drag queen, but you can't go finding stuff on Amazon. Mm-hmm. Amazon, when it comes to like jock straps and any kind of underwear of any kind, they're definitely small, they're kind of basic, there's no color, they're just like black, gray and white, just like the usual underwear colors.
Plain.
Very plain Jane on Amazon. So you have to go to stores like Rough Trade and those leather shops up in LA in order to get something that you actually kind of like and that's kind of unique. And I would say the typical go-go outfit is a harness, a thong, a jockstrap, high top shoes, and long socks. Basically, that's like the the bare minimum of go-going, I guess.
I say like a backwards hat.
Yeah, a cap of some kind. Sometimes you don't.
Cap. A simple cap.
A cap, a hat of some kind. But like for example, when I go, my type of go-going is, I try to go off of a theme. I'm huge on nostalgia with my Ash Ketchum hat, but like being like a Pokemon trainer as a go-go dancer, Care Bear as a go-go dancer, dressing as like an idea or theme of what I want to do. Versus a lot of people will dress for whatever that theme night is. So like if it's like Latin night, they wear like a cowboy hat or boots, or wear certain things based on the theme of what it is. Like a pub event, do a little pub event. So it varies on what go-go boys would wear. And it's another thing when it comes to go-go dancers. Not all of them are men. Some of them are women.
Some of them are tweet too.
Yeah. But there's not a lot of events that kind of like have that space of the in-betweenness of having, trans men and women all in the same event. For example, Pride in Long Beach, I danced at a Party Monster. There was a girl that was a raver chick that she go-goed, and then there was 2 boys. I was one of them. But there needs to be more events where it's kind of a shared space in one spot instead of, this gay bar is meant for leather, this venue is only for drag queens, this venue is a lesbian bar, and kind of everything's split up. A lot of people are complaining that venues are being kind of shut down and kind of losing gay culture a little bit. But while at the same time, we also need venues that kind of allow everyone to come in. And, a lot of people don't feel welcome in a leather bar because they feel like they have to have a harness or be a certain way, which shouldn't always be the case.
Be very masculine looking.
Yeah, very masculine, machismo, all that. But go-going is definitely cheaper than being a drag queen. But the networking and finding like a gig, I feel like is definitely less because you're having to. There's like not as many people you can talk to.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I would say that sometimes when you are starting off doing drag, a lot of the times there will be a seasoned performer there. I think that the thing I love about the drag community is like we help each other out most of the time. There are some drag performers that really stick to being a character. They're a method actor or actress. Most of the time there'll be a seasoned performer there. And they help you out. Like, they're not just gonna let you go out there and look stupid. Unless you go in and you're like, I'm super cocky, look at me, I can do anything I want, blah. Like, screw you. Like, they're not, like, we're gonna take care of our own,
I mean, when it comes to, I would say that's kind of, I wouldn't say it's the opposite when it comes to go-going, but the boys that show up at an event mostly don't usually know each other because they're from all parts of LA. You get a go-go boy that's maybe from like downtown LA, or like me being in Whittier and like someone in Long Beach, and they're all showing up at the same bar. It's not as so much as a connected community, I would say, as the drag culture is. So when I show up to an event and go-going and I'm meeting that go-go person like the first time like ever. Or I met them on Instagram and I'm meeting them the first time in person. But I know the promoter because I've known them forever.
Right.
So it's very, I would say, vague and up in the air when it comes to go-going and gigs and all that. It's a very shuffled kind of experience. You don't know who you're going to dance with, and it's usually not regular. It's usually not. Like,
have you bumped into anybody like, oh, we danced before?
Oh yeah, I mean, and then I'll tip the go-go's I've danced with, right? But I want to go more, but it's definitely hard to balance like your regular job, your real life, and then doing your dancing gigs at night. Yeah, basically. Yeah. So, and that's another thing is gigs and things shouldn't always have to be at nighttime. Go-going feels like it's strictly to events that are just like at a bar at like 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock. Versus there's a bar in LA that's I'll say they do the hot dog Sundays. They have the but that's like in the middle of the daytime. Like it's during the sunlight.
Listen.
Which most
we need more daytime drag.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
I agree.
Turn the lights on so you can see what these drag queens actually look like.
Yeah. I look good during the day because I performed a lot of daytime drag. And like I'm getting older. It's bedtime at 10 o'clock.
Same. And then that's a lot of the things. Is like you're waiting for your gig or whatever you're dancing at, like till like late at night, and then you dance and you're out of the bar like 2 a.m. and then you're just That's so late. I don't want to be out that late.
Yeah. I mean, and also, like, there's been times where I've actually been asked to perform in drag as a go-go dancer. I mean, I want to,
I don't know about that.
but I sweat.
Well, I mean, it's not just that. When it comes to go-going and drag queens, go-going, they get touched. They get touched for tips, basically.
Yeah.
And when it comes to drag queens, they don't like getting touched.
Well, consent.
Consent,
Well, yeah.
Consent is very important
Yes.
and sexy. Yes.
And a lot of the times I would say,
consent.
like, you're right. Like, when I'm giving a go-go dancer a tip, I usually don't. And I kind of, like, get creeped out when people do this. Like, where they just dive in with the dollar.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I usually have the dollar, and then I'm like, I'm gonna let them lead me.
Yeah, that's the good practice.
And then that's usually the job of the go-go is kind of flirt with the person they're getting tipped by, and not just like stick it wherever you want.
Yeah.
So, but
You mean all those times those go-go dancers flirted with me? It was fake?
it was fake. I mean, we work for our tips.
It's for money.
Getting those tips, but the thing when it comes to like drag queens, especially with them having tits and hips and all of that stuff, someone drunk is gonna just like grab your chest and thinking like it's okay, or shove a tip like between the tits or just like some crevice in their outfit, and they may actually break something.
Yeah.
Right. And then same thing with me go-going is, yes, I'm wearing a thong, but like you putting a tip and then like groping your finger up my ass is not okay.
No.
That's not okay. Like,
Then you're gonna have a pooper finger.
just kidding.
Has that ever happened?
Not
Does
to
someone
you,
like
No.
touched you without
Mike doesn't
consent?
get poo-poo fingers.
I've had a few. I mean, as a go-going because I'm. Girl, shut up. But no, as a go-go, because you're wearing such little amount of clothing, a lot of people are like, "Oh, he's naked. He wants to get touched."
Yeah.
That's not okay. And then for some events, I've gotten some creepy old men that like will tip you once and then they go away and they come back again and they won't tip you but they want to touch you, and that's not okay. If you're not, you can't. If I want it, I'll show you I want it.
Yes.
Like, go off of the vibe of the go-go. The go-go will tell you if they're okay with it or not. But again, respect their boundaries, consent, all of that. Just because they're dancing for tips, they're human. Yeah. When it comes to like our attire as go-go's, there's also like limitations on what we can wear because of the rules of the bar and the city.
The venue.
So like we can't show our penis whatsoever. But when it comes to some of these people that are tipping us, they may like grope inside your thong, and if your junk falls out, you can get in trouble. You can get in trouble and fired. So you're risking someone's job by trying to like touch them all over the place, which is not okay. I understand people are drinking at these venues, but you need to understand that they're there to enjoy their time as a dancer, their experience, show you a good time, but then all at the same time, don't be too handsy with them.
Just have fun. Just have fun. Like,
just have fun. That's all it's
just
about.
have fun.
Exactly. No,
like,
just hearing you explain it is like, oh gosh, it's very similar to just the rules of an etiquette of strip clubs and strippers.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
we're just
very, very aligned.
Clothed strip clubs. Barely wearing anything.
Barely clothed.
Barely clothed, but we're strippers too.
I mean, there is some like strip clubs where like they don't show.
Yeah, and that's usually like burlesque.
Yeah.
I learned something.
Yeah. I would say that also like drag performers and like go-go dancers are usually like well knitted, like close to each other when it comes to if they perform at the same location over and over again. They usually become friends because they're dealing with similar experiences. Yeah. But I will say that like I know a lot of drag performers advocate for their like go-go performers.
Oh, yeah, I just got a visual of like drag performers being like Pokemon trainers, and then go-go dancers are the Pokemon.
Catch him up, gotta catch him up. Yeah, and I would also want to say like not only just like go-go dancers, but like if you are like a drag performer, like tip the go-go dancers. It's okay to tip a go-go dancer. They're probably gonna give you a tip too because they're gonna say, "Damn girl, that was fierce."
Yeah. We're gonna be in that audience just like you are. So.
Or damn bro,
Bro.
Bro, that was cute. You're like, I tried.
I tried.
Not only that, but our DJs, sometimes our DJs are working off tips too, and a lot of people forget to tip them. And also, not only that, you have like a stage hand, right? They're usually the ones that are picking up the tips, or the ones that making sure that the performers are like actually getting out there on time.
And some of them don't even have a stage hand. But I also forgot to speak about like the cost of like tipping and how much a go-go is actually paid, which is actually not that much. Depending on what the event is how much you get tipped. So like if it's just like an event, it's maybe like a middle of the week, you might get like $3 in tips as you're go-going, which is kind of nothing. But so most like promoters will pay their go-go's, but it ranges from like 80 to like 120.
Dang.
Right? But that's one night, depending on like who you know, what the event is, and how big the event is. Because if there's a cover, right, mostly that cover goes to the DJ, goes to the go-go dancer, goes to the bar, goes to some of these are having charity events, so a percentage of that is going to a charity event. So it all depends on, you know, if it has a cover or not, who the promoter is, how big the event is. Some of the events are, you know, they go across the nation, like Barracuda, that goes across the nation. So does Mega Wolf and all these bigger events. But there's also the smaller ones, which is like, you know, just like a leather night at Falcon North, which is, you know, you're getting paid off of those tips, but there's no promoter for that event. So you may get paid by the bar, but you may not. So it's really a gamble.
Yeah, and also not only that, like he said, 80 to 100. If you think about it, go-go performers are performing for hours,
and it's not as often either. So like, I may do one event on a Friday one week, and then like 3 weeks later do another. So it's not as consistent. It's not consistent at all. You know, I know a few go-go's that's all they do. Is they travel all across California, and that's all they do.
Good for them.
Which is great, but while at the same time, it's really not that much money. It's really not. So, and to live off of tips and to live like you have, it's
scary.
Cheap.
Yeah, it can be scary because you didn't get any shows.
Yeah, and some things like they cover your travel, and sometimes they don't.
Oh yeah.
So there's all these logistic things that are covered and not, and like loopholes and gray areas when it comes to being a performer in general. So
yeah, I would say that like I've noticed that bigger bars cater towards their drag performers more than their go-go performers, and they kind of put them on the back of the burner. Like they just say, okay, like I'm just gonna go to like this production crew that like has like a bunch of go-go performers, and they'll deal with it. But I'm just gonna talk to these. You know, it's like if you own a venue, talk to your go-go.
I mean, I can easily speak to that too. I mean, the Party Monster event that I did for Pride, they hired they're called the Babes, which is the Long Beach like production. There's like 5 or 6 drag queens. It's a drag group. But like as us go-go's, we were dancing the entire night up there. And then they show up, clear the floor, do their number, and get all the tips and all of that stuff, which is great. But while at the same time, I've been there since the start of the event. I mean, I got paid. Don't get me wrong. It's just weird to see that happen. It's like we're there to look pretty and be statues, and we're there the whole time. And then the main event comes, and it's just kind of like, okay, it's over.
A lot of people actually will leave too.
Yeah.
After that,
But as a go-go, especially if you care for what you're doing, you want to get paid for, you know, for what you're doing.
Yeah, it's an art form. Dancing is an art form. Yeah.
Enter disclaimer.
Yeah.
Hi. I'm JJ. What we're about to do is literally talk about our favorite performers, and it can be local, or it can be from Drag Race, or it can be from Dragula, or anywhere that we've seen it. We are only talking on what we've seen, and we're not talking on their character or how they are as a human being. It's just our opinions, and everyone is entitled to their own opinion, even if it's wrong.
Let's start with JJ. What are your...
So my favorite drag queen in the whole entire world.
Just jump right in.
Look, it's gonna be Jujubee.
I love Jujubee.
I love me a Jujubee. Something about Jujubee, anytime that Jujubee is doing a confessional, or like just talking, or just like maybe walking around.
I mean, she's killed her reading challenges.
Right, but it's just Jujubee is an authentic person, like, and you can tell.
Yeah.
Like, they're just being themselves in and out of drag. Also, they know how to find a camera.
Is this my camera?
Right.
Is that my camera?
My second performer that I like,
is
gonna be like Latin Cider. who I also like have a huge ass crush on. Lad Insider is a local drag performer from Long Beach who also won Dragula. So good. I just love everything that they do. This is probably the only person, honestly, that I will get starstruck. I went to eat pizza with my friend Jacob, and Lad Insider was with their partner, and they sat like 3 tables away, and I immediately recognized who they were. I didn't go to them. I'm not that person. I'm not gonna ruin their evening. I'm gonna be that, like, oh my god, I know who you are. So Lad Insider is amazing. They paint well. They also are like a very authentic person as well. Like on Dragula, from what I saw. And also, by the way, like on my birthday, they were at Redline and we watched the Dragula Titans. They were sitting right in front of me.
Again? Did you look at anything?
Always near her, but never saying that.
Right. Best birthday ever. My third person that I love is gonna be Mariah Paris Balenciaga.
She was just here this weekend.
No, she's always in Long Beach.
Yeah, she's always in Long Beach, girl.
She's always in Long Beach.
She's at the Bates at Bobo's.
My favorite story about Mariah and the reason why I like her, I honestly only knew what I saw on Drag Race, and I loved every second of it, and I ate it up. But when I was performing this past Pride in Long Beach, I was a hot mess. It was hot and it was a mess. I had my crown on because we just did the Pride Parade. I had to go perform at the tent. We did a reading hour with the children, and then we performed a child appropriate song in my child appropriate outfit. And my cape got stuck in my crown. Oh, I tried to take it off. My crown pulled up. It's attached to my wig. My wig almost came off. Our Emperor Joey was trying to like untie it while I was still performing. It was hilarious though, because it was this is what dreams are made of. So it was like, so I was just like, this is what dreams are made of. So afterwards, I was just like, oh my god, like everyone was laughing. I made it funny. Like, you know, you got to commit to it and just go with it. Obviously, after I walked away, I was kind of like upset with myself. I was like, I've never had a messy moment like that before. Like, I've usually had like smooth transitions and like, but that stupid crown that I love just got stuck in the cape, and it just like messed everything up. The audience was awesome though. I think that's the most tips I ever got, actually.
Wow.
They're like, oh, she needs it.
Mariah Balenciaga was standing on the side, and I didn't realize it was like her, and I just happened to like walk by, and the Empress was standing there talking with her, and I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe I just messed up. And she was like, oh my god, I loved every second of it. Like, oh, that was hilarious. Oh, that's such a good bit. You should do that again. Like, they were just encouraging me the whole time, not knowing who I was or like who I am. I think that's like, I immediately fell in love with them, because I was like, you literally are the, you know, you Drag Race royalty, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race queens that are highly supportive of local queens.
Right.
Yeah. Like Mariah's one of them. Morgan Michaels, Delta Work.
Delta Work.
Oh yeah.
Delta Work is a massive supporter of local drag. Not all drag queens. You know, it's about RuPaul's Drag Race. It's not the end goal for a lot of these drag queens. Right. Some of them are very happy being local queens, and that's their gig, which is fine.
Speaking of local performers, I just had a couple shout outs real quick. Sorry.
We all do.
Obviously, I love everyone in Jailhouse. That's my house, by the way. Go follow us at Jailhouse. I'll put the link in our bio, or actually
somewhere.
It'll be somewhere. It's on Instagram. Follow all the performers. They're amazing. It's my fam. Also, Bearded Martha Stewart. If you are not going to Long Beach Hamburger Mary's right now and watching them perform in Facade, you are missing out. They're killing it.
They're amazing.
And also Bearded Queen. Right?
Yes.
We also get confused all the time, like by other people. They're like, "Oh, hi JJ, hi Martha," and I'm like,
"She's over there."
Yeah. And then obviously Sagadella, love her, legend in Long Beach. Big D as well. Like, I've had the opportunity to get to know them recently a lot, and they have taken care of me. I've had some like mental like down times, and they've been there for support. As well as like everyone else I mentioned too. And I think that's what it's about, is just helping the community. And like I said, like, people are being authentic with me, I'm gonna love it. Yeah. Like, you don't give me a reason
be genuine,
to not like you. I'm gonna like you, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of not liking people.
Time for the least favorites.
So my least favorite people, obviously Sharon Needles.
For many reasons.
I used to love Sharon Needles.
I did too.
Because it was the first time that I saw someone doing alternate drag.
Yeah.
On Drag Race, by the way.
Especially with the horror drag.
And I live for that. Like, I want, like, my drag mom does horror drag, you know, alternative drag. That's how, like I grew up in the drag community when I first started, was doing those types of gigs, and I still do it. Like, I love it. And so what they did, which you can just go watch one of the drag queen videos about Sharon Needles on YouTube. I'm not going to talk about it. But it was more like disappointment. Like, I was a huge fan, and then you did this, and it's like, I understand we're humans, but like, there's some things that are just unacceptable for me. And then obviously, my second one, Tyra Sanchez. Again, watch a YouTube video about it. I'll leave it at that.
Do your own research.
Now, my last one, I will say, they have really good looks, and they slayed the last competition. But I just know that this is a person that my personality would not mix well with. I mean, don't hate me, internet. But Candy Muse. Again, it's just the personality for me. We definitely would like
clash.
Yeah, clash. If we were like in front of a camera, we would be making great TV. But I mean, it's just personal preferences, right? I'm not saying that their drag is not good, because their drag, like, they're killing it.
Everyone's drag is definitely unique to them.
Mm-hmm. It's just Candy Muse. I don't know them as a person. Personally, it's just what I've seen, and obviously it's only been on Drag Race, and that's like a character, right, that they're doing.
Exactly.
And what I saw on TV, I just knew that I would clash with them. That was it.
This is not your cup of tea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, our reasons for least favorite could be anything. It's not a matter of fact of like, they did anything wrong. It's just they're not a favorite.
Just doesn't
jive. Which leads to moi. So my favorite drag queens from RuPaul's Drag Race. Number one is, I've always been a fan of her since her finale lip sync. Is Sasha Velour. Because Sasha Velour, her season, she never lip synced at all. Like, never did at all. And then all of her runway looks, I was amazed by, because as a bald queen, she still was able to do a runway without a wig. I don't think she ever wore a wig.
Yeah.
And the only time she wore a wig was the finale. And for me, she's also very like thoughtful and intelligent when it comes to like what she's gonna specifically wear for her runway. And she was always androgynous in her like style of drag, and her, you know, I think it was the finale, like the when you like hand down the crown, she walked out as like an alien with holding an apple, and I was just like, I love it. But I love Sasha Velour. I'm also reading her book right now. I'm not exactly done with it, but she's very thoughtful about the history of drag and where like the connections between like androgyny and drag queens. Her drag is very unique, and when it comes to the style of like the way she does her face, and then I think there was the drag one where she had a little house on her head.
Yeah.
Like, and then my next queen, I mean, I don't think anyone can touch this drag queen, but Jinx Monsoon can do anything. Comedy.
The supreme.
Like, she is the supreme of all drag queens. Compared to where she started on her season, I think, was it 5? Or
somewhere really,
5, 4? So, I don't know what season. But, you know, she always joked around about her narcolepsy, because she was always falling asleep in her episode. But her drag was kind of like all over the place, her original season. And then when she came back as All-Stars, she can do comedy and sing and almost do anything. Especially when she did Snatch Game, and I lost my shit. But I love Jinx Monsoon, especially her like friendship with Panda Creme, which is very unique when it comes to drag queens. There's a lot of, I would say, drag queen duos, which is like Trixie and Katya, and then Jinx and so there are, you know, Monet Exchange and Bob the Drag Queen. So there's a lot of drag queens that are like tag teamed in some of the things they do. And then my third favorite is Morgan McMichaels, because she's a sassy queen. She also does the Lipstick Divas at Exactly Sweets every Thursday. That's right. Which is actually one of the first drag shows I actually like saw. And for me, as a lot of people, when it comes to queer people, when they first see drag, it can kind of be uncomfortable a little bit, because you haven't seen this before. when I would show up to Morgan's show, it was kind of like I was at an improv show, but also a drag queen, like drag show at the same time. And she knows a lot of the people in the audience. She interacts really well. Her drag is all over the place. But she doesn't take her drag too seriously. And she also supports a lot of queens, local and
Oh yeah,
RuPaul
she
Drag
does
Race.
a lot of
And she's all over
competitions.
California too.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's also a judge on some competitions too.
Mm-hmm.
Now local queens. Local queens, I don't know that many because I haven't really gone that many places, but Long Beach is kind of primarily the ones that I know. My number one is Onion Nuts. I met her out of drag first, and when I saw her in drag, I'm like, that girl can move.
Oh,
can
yeah.
dance, split, everything.
Stunt queen.
Stunt queen for sure.
Yeah.
She can dance. Like first time I saw her was at Executive Suites for sure.
That's funny that you picked that person, because when I was in high school, when I became the junior class president at our rival high school, they also were the junior class president.
Rivals.
And so we met at like a ASB, which is Associate Student Body, by the way.
Yeah.
We met like at a
Abbreviations.
mixer, and that's the first time I met them.
Oh.
I know she's super sweet in and out of drag. She's great.
Yeah.
My second queen, she's currently taking a break. I feel I checked her Instagram. She's kind of like BRB right now, but she was the first drag queen I met other than Morgan McMichaels at Executive Suites, and she was supposed to actually join our kickball team. We bought her a jersey. She was like, I think it was like when she was first becoming a drag queen, whether it was like to choose, do I want to become a drag queen? Like, is this my career, or do I want to, like, just have fun as a queer person and join the kickball team? So it was like either or. They were friends with they were friends with like half of her team. We bought her a jersey, and she decided to be serious about her drag and continue her drag, and she felt bad because she already got the jersey and everything, and she's like, you know what, my first number, I'm gonna be wearing a jersey as well.
Oh, cute.
So she used to host the RuPaul's like viewing party, and we would all show up as a team. She would wear her jersey, do her number upstairs and all that. So she was definitely the first. She was my first interaction in her drag and made me feel comfortable. And because I met her first time coming into a bar, knowing them out of drag and then who they are in drag, it's the same person, which I love. When the drag queen, like, you're not sassy or different as a drag queen, you're the same person in both ways.
Right.
The other one, my favorite, or another one of my favorites, is Big D, because she does a lot for Long Beach. She does a lot for the queens in Long Beach. She's a hustle of a queen. If you need, like, I've heard, she helps a lot of queens when it comes to gigs. And as a performer, she's also very comedic in her drag. And it's not like a sassy, like it's like the cutting of the music and all of that stuff. It's very like thought out. Like, you're gonna laugh my entire skit, like the entire time. And so I've never seen a performance from Big D that I didn't enjoy. It was always a good old time.
Even if they're just walking to music, because they also judge facade.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even just walking to the music, you're like, yes, you better walk.
But yeah, she interacts with like everybody, the audience, the queens, everybody. So as a local queen, she definitely is like a hustler for sure. Now my least favorite. These queens are I'm like blanket statement why these are my least favorite is because they were very loud on RuPaul's Drag Race, and I feel like didn't really have I hate to say this, but their purpose to come on Drag Race wasn't really to like show really the drag. I felt like it was just a fight with everybody. And so my number one least favorite was Vixen, for many reasons. But when she came in, she just was like, I'm ready to fight. I remember her entrance look. She's like, I'm ready to fight. And I'm like, ooh, we already know that it's spicy. And I would say of all the queens on RuPaul's Drag Race, she was definitely the most vocal and defensive, I feel like, of all, like, even when it came to, even in Untucked, she's very, like targeted towards some of the queens. Then my second least favorite is Fifi O'Hara. Fifi O'Hara, I don't know what her drag really is sometimes. And on her season, her fight with Sharon Needles is just like ridiculous.
Yeah, it's cringy.
I don't know. I don't know if she didn't really have a good time in her season or something. I don't like the very loud, angry queens. if you're targeted by a queen and you're getting defensive, you're protecting yourself. But if you're getting upset for no reason, it's just to like fight in front of a camera.
Yeah.
Then that's why number 3, Miss Aja, is another one of my least favorite. I mean, hands down, probably the most iconic thing ever was when she was doing the Untucked and calling out Valentina. You're beautiful. You're a model. It was so extra, and I feel like it probably a lot of these queens, they're just like launching out their insecurities as some of these drag queens, and it's not really very whiny. Yes. So Aja, I mean, I feel like she really didn't know who she was as a drag queen or anything like that. I mean, now she's transitioned. She had a fight with Candy Muse, and now they're back together.
Yeah, they're friends.
So they're from the same house, but Aja, I just feel like has been all over the place, and hopefully they found themselves. But
hopefully they find peace.
Find peace.
How did they find peace?
I so far agreed, or I am very much aligned with all your favorites and not so favorite drag queens. Yeah, my top favorite is Benda La Creme, and yeah, pretty much the same reasons that you said about Jinx. So, great performer. I get her humor, and it's very wholesome, and I just like how she is also on social media, and I don't know, I vibe very well with what the messages that she's trying to say. In the show too, in Drag Race, I think the iconic self-elimination, we're like, this is...
I was gonna say that.
This is just like...
I'm done. I'm going home.
Okay, I kind of agree. Like, okay, she might have done it for the ratings or for...
I don't think that this is any disrespect towards you.
No.
I feel like I'm a winner.
Exactly.
Benda La Christ.
Yes. And like, I just thought that was so brave. And like, yeah, way to like kind of also like...
Also make great TV.
Kick it to Rue, like
no,
in a way, like
a lot of these drag queens on that show are pressurized to make decisions that ruins other people's lives. Like
exactly.
Some of these drag queens, like their careers ended.
Why did you look at me when you said ruin life?
But I mean, when it came to Ben the Creme and then especially that episode, the pressure was just like, I don't want to pick somebody. Why do I have to?
Yeah.
And that was just like, you know what? I'm a bow out.
Took the destiny and the future in her own hands, and just like, okay, I'm done. And she's made a great career out of herself still without having to win that. Yeah, exactly. Next favorite is Raja. I think being in like second season, right, of Drag Race, and then recently in the Queen of Queens Drag Race.
She done already had hers.
She I don't know. I think having been the only actual Asian person be in Drag Race and win something in Drag Race, I think says a lot. And I think has an extremely creative eye when it comes to design and fashion and her costumes. And I don't know, I admire her for that. And I watched a video of her recently, or not recently, like a year or two ago, where like they toured her house and she's talking about her decorations and everything. I just love what she had, and I'm like, definitely like she's a maximalist, and I kind of like I am too, so love her. Shangela, I didn't really like a lot until recently when I was watching her and We're Here, and she was doing the HBO show with Eureka and Bob the Drag Queen, and I got to see a side that I kind of knew was there, but like, oh, there's this really hardworking, humble, down-to-earth person who's extremely talented, and I think coming from humble beginnings, and she just didn't show that she was so like too good for anything. So I admire that of her. And
she did the Dancing with the Stars. And
that's right.
She killed that.
Angela, you literally picked a Heather and a booger.
I did. And yeah, Shangela has some great lines from Drag Race that are super iconic.
Hallelujah.
Oh yeah, exactly. My favorite local drag queens, my number one is JJ. I think because and number two is Natasha, because I think between you and Natasha, you were the two that I actually finally, like, when I moved to Long Beach, you were the two that I started to meet and talk to, and like, oh, now I'm getting to know a drag queen that's an actual person, and becoming a friend, and I'm
and that's a lot of how we meet these local drag queens. Is either you meet them at drag and then find out that they're a drag queen, or you should go to a drag show and then you see like kind of like who's like the main person running it, and then because most drag shows it'll be like a main person, and then your local queens right after.
I mean, not only that, like as a drag performer, you like see regulars, like you know the regulars, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh my god, they came back. Like I make a point like to go to that table or go where they're at and say, oh my god, I saw you guys at my last show. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll be like, I didn't even know you were performing. I'm happy I'm here, and I'm like, me too.
You get me both.
But I think it's hilarious that you put Natasha because I literally just had a conversation with her yesterday.
Oh.
She's also like a friend too. She like gives me good advice.
And yeah, I think there's always something that I would do for both of you, like at a drop of a dime, like help you out or do anything.
Not
Just the two of
JJ
you.
having a groupie.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I got two.
I got two.
Yeah, my third favorite local drag queen, her name is Danica Diamante, and I think she's an awesome performer. She's super sweet. Like, I don't think she talks a lot while she performs, but she is purely an awesome dancer. And meeting her kind of out of drag and having a drink with her, which is super sweet, is just to get to know her. And I think that's what I've had in common with, like, I like getting to know the queens out of drag or after drag show, and then like having a drink, because there's this whole side that you just don't know.
When the lights are off.
Yeah, and that's like super humbling, and I just kind of appreciate more. And I'm like, whenever she performs, I give her like extra dollars because I'm like, thank you for talking to me and being so nice.
Sure. Yes, extra doll hairs.
Doll hairs.
Yes, exactly.
I want all the doll hairs.
So my least favorite, same kind of reasoning as you, Michael. It's like a blanket reason why they're not my favorite, was because they had this attitude and personality during Drag Race that just didn't really align with how I am as a person. And I think it was that ego, like it came out and it wasn't pretty, and there was moments where I was rooting for them, but it just like crumbled.
Rooting for you.
We're all rooting for you. How dare you?
My first one is Valentina, and she's my number one because I was rooting for her so much and being like a Chicana, like yeah, exactly. And like when that happened, it was devastating because like, did you think it was just gonna not be you, and so you didn't do the work to prepare yourself, right? So I don't know, that was like the decline, and there was some stuff that she was doing and saying that just didn't really feel like, you know, was appropriate or okay.
Yeah.
And the same with Alaska. That's my second. Like the way they all picked on Jinx, and then in their season,
what was the group called?
Oh god, Relaxatox.
Relaxatox.
And it's funny because my third is Roxy Andrews. And it's for me though, for Alaska, it was an all-stars when she kind of just exploded into this whiny person, baby-like, and was broken because she was afraid of being eliminated. And I don't know, that wasn't just, it wasn't a good sport.
I'm pretty sure she was either dating or already broken up with Sharon Needles at that
right,
point.
yeah.
So which just might have added to the whininess, but still.
So yeah, and it was kind of cringy. And then Roxy also, I think she's a great performer, but
she's a beautiful drag queen.
It's just, I don't know, like she just was picking on people and other drag queens, and
they definitely picked on Jinx a lot.
They did. And I identify a lot with Jinx and some of the other queens that they picked on, and so I was like, no, I was very protective.
Like what we saw, I think for some of them, obviously there was like some controversies that came out, right?
Right,
for sure.
So we know like what happened. But I mean, we're just going based off of what we saw on the edit. And, I mean, again, everyone said what they said. You know, what you said.
And some of these drag queens, their lives are completely different now.
Oh yeah,
right. Like Valentina hosting, you know,
Mexican's
Drag Race. Mm-hmm. She did. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it, but she did an amazing job. But her drag is completely different. Her attitude has changed. She's a different queen than when she started from RuPaul's Drag Race.
Doesn't mean don't like drag.
I mean, but it doesn't really mean like her drag is any better or different. It's just kind of. I feel like a lot of the drag queens that are RuPaul's Drag Race is like not their first introduction to drag, but they kind of realize like under this pressure cooker of drag, this isn't really
it's a
me.
huge platform.
Like this really isn't
totally
me, and then they branch off to whatever they want to do after that.
Right.
But
it's totally different from like me going to a local bar and performing, and then like kicking with like someone after the show and like this is who I am, and then obviously you take off drag and you're like you could be the same person. Sometimes you're just like the opposite. It just depends on who you are as a person.
Yeah.
But I think that they don't when you first go on Drag Race, you don't realize, and I can't say like I'm just
because you haven't been there.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet. I'm just saying like what I've heard. Like they don't realize like how much of a pressure cooker it is, and like there's production, there's a storyline.
Yeah.
Their producers are telling them what
There
to
is a
say.
script.
Yeah, they're saying, hey,
Yeah.
go ask this person this. You can watch YouTube videos, right, where they talk about it. Vixen talked about it. Asha talked about it. You know, even Candy Muse was talking about it. There were some things that happened on the last All Stars that Candy Muse let us know about. And like even look, just go to Willem and Alaska's
Their podcast.
They'll let you know. They'll let you know.
All the tea.
All the tea.
All the tea.
Yeah, no, we definitely have a lot to talk about.
Drag has a lot of history. In our next episode, we definitely are going to be talking about the history of drag.
Yeah.
Because it branches far back than you could probably think of. And digging into that, like, treasure chest is going to take a long time.
Yeah, and also unraveling things that we may have heard about drag that also may not be true. Like, the history of drag is, like, very... like a puzzle, and you need to put the puzzle pieces
Oh
together.
yeah, what's it called? Like debunking the myths
Yeah.
of drag.
Also, go ahead and subscribe and follow us if you want to see more videos. Go ahead and hit that little bell, and it will let you know anytime a notification of when we post a new video.
Somewhere
as well.
over.
Also, go ahead and
somewhere
follow us on our Instagram pages, where you get to learn the little details and tidbits about our own personal lives and my drag journey.
over. And maybe some behind the scenes stuff that we just didn't get a chance to make it onto the full episode. Well, that's exciting. Woo! So yeah, thank you all for watching.
Thank you. Until next time.
Until next time.
Pew, 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 pew.
Like this is the real sound, but I can't ever replicate the actual slipping sound of the straw that they add on. The drag has also been very segregated in gender, right? So like, it was still very much considered that only men dress as.
It's too late now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you can follow.
I do.
Back to Jeff's corner.
Uh-oh, we made it a thing.
Right? Now it's a real thing. Now we gotta get another camera.
Oh god! I want my corner. Where is it?
Womp womp.
Does not exist.
I would say that like I've noticed that bigger bars